Okay, in this video we're going to set up a firewall for our Raspberry Pi. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and open our Chrome browser, and we're going to first log into our Raspberry Pi using the Secure Shell. So we'll click on the extensions, we'll click on Secure Shell, we'll go to the connection dialog, and if we don't have this populated with our correct username and IP address, we need to do that. The format is your username at the IP address, and this would be your IP address that's being broadcasted from the Raspberry Pi display that we set up in the last lesson. So let's go ahead and connect. Okay, we're prompted for a password, so we'll enter our password in. And now we're in. Whenever you log into your Raspberry Pi, one good habit to get into is to make sure that all of your packages are upgraded. So to see what packages are available for an upgrade, you can type in the command sudo apt update. And it's prompting us for our password, so we'll go ahead and enter that in. And then once the available packages have been updated, then we can choose to upgrade them by typing in the command sudo apt upgrade. So it's a good habit to do that every time you log in. That'll make sure that you're getting the latest security patches for your Ubuntu server. Okay, let's go ahead and clear the screen here. So again, our target for this video is to set up a firewall, and Ubuntu ships with a firewall called UFW. It stands for Uncomplicated Firewall. And to check its status, what we would need to type in is sudo superuserdo UFW status. And we can see right now, we see that it's inactive, okay? We want to enable it, but we need to set some rules first. If we enable it right now, there's a good possibility that we'll completely lock ourselves out of the Raspberry Pi. So we need to allow the connection that we made with Secure Shell. That's an SSH connection. So to add that rule, we're going to type in the command sudo UFW allow SSH. And we get a message here that our rules have been updated. So now let's go ahead and enable our firewall so that we can view these rules. So the command to do that would be sudo UFW enable. And remember, make sure that you add the rule to allow SSH connection, otherwise we will lock ourselves out of the Raspberry Pi. Okay, let's go ahead and hit enter, and it says, gives us a message here that we might interrupt our connections. We're going to say yes here, that's okay. And we get the message that the firewall is active and enabled on system startup. So let's go ahead and check out the status. So we're going to do sudo UFW status. And now we can see that we have two rules here. We have rules for SSH for version 4 and for version 6. We're going to remove the version 6. So to do that, the command would be sudo UFW delete rule number 2. Okay, actually before we do this, let's see how we can number our rules. So if we type in the command sudo UFW status numbered, we can see that currently rule number 1 is for SSH version 4 and rule number 2 is for SSH version 6. We want to remove rule number 2. So the command to do that would be sudo UFW delete 2. And it'll ask us if we really want to do that. Yes, we do. And now we'll go ahead and look at our status again, and we can see now that we only have one rule, which is exactly what we want. Okay. Let's go ahead and open up some other specific ports. So SSH traditionally uses port 22. That's why port 22 is marked there. Two of the ports that we're going to use in our next unit are port 8080 and port 8000. So let's go ahead and allow those ports. So we can type in sudo UFW allow port 8080, and then we're going to write a comment. So we're going to put a space, we're going to type the keyword comment, and in single quotes we're going to type in code server. That's the name of the service, the IDE, the integrated development environment that we're going to use throughout this course. So let's go ahead and hit enter, and we see that we have two rules added. Let's go ahead and look at these rules when we do the status, and we can see that they're both, two rules have been added there. Again, we're going to get rid of the version 6, so let's go ahead and do that. Sudo UFW delete 3, and then if we do the status again, we can see that we have those two rules, okay? And we can also see that by passing in that comment keyword, we were able to make that comment code server. All right, so let's go ahead and add one more rule. This is going to be sudo UFW allow 8000. And for a comment, we're going to call this Django run server. Okay, this is our first project that we're going to work on is building a dynamic web application using Django, and Django has a nifty little local server that we can use, and it runs on, but by default it runs on port 8000. So I'll go ahead and hit enter. Let's go ahead and look at the status, and we can see our rules have been added there. Again, let's get rid of the last rule there, which is rule number 4. So we'll type in sudo UFW delete 4. We'll do the status again, and we can see that we have our 3 rules. So now what we've done is we've enabled our uncomplicated firewall to only allow ports 22, 8080, and 8000 to be accessed. And they are connected, those ports are connected to specific services. And this is something that you should consider doing to help add an additional layer of security to your Raspberry Pi. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next video.